plates taken. Hey, dummy!
At some point in our lives, we've all encountered people like this, negative people. And often we're told, it's easy, just don't let them get to you. But in real life, not letting them get to you isn't always that easy. While watching Forrest Gump, I found 5 incredibly simple and practical tips for dealing with these kinds of people, so they don't become a weight in our lives, but rather a springboard to becoming a better version of ourselves. In Forrest Gump, we meet Forrest as a child diagnosed with a low IQ. On top of that, he has a curved spine, and a doctor fits him with orthopedic braces connected to his shoes. This is Forrest's first big life challenge. We always see him holding his mother's hand. One day, while they're walking down the street, his braces get stuck in a storm drain. That's when he encounters his first type of negative person. 2 judgmental old men just sitting there, criticizing everyone in town. Later, Forrest faces another challenge: school. In one of the first scenes, he gets on the school bus, and none of the kids want to let him sit next to them. Forrest looks different, and many of us were never really taught to understand and appreciate differences. Instead, we're often told to fit into a mold, and so we begin judging others to avoid being judged ourselves. Negative people often wear masks. They're just protecting themselves. When we attack others, we're usually hiding from what we need to face in ourselves. That's why the first quote from Mama Gump is so powerful.
If God intended everybody to be the same, He'd have given us all braces on our legs.
When we learn to appreciate other people's differences and journeys, we start appreciating our own too. Tip number 1. See yourself as a process, not a finished product. When we shift the focus from judgment to growth, we claim our own path and stop being affected by others' opinions. Back on the school bus. Even though no one wants Forrest to sit with them, he finds Jenny. Jenny becomes his best friend, his confidant, his playmate. One day, they're walking together when some boys start throwing rocks at Forrest. What he does next is remarkable. At first, he runs out of fear, but then he discovers his gift. He can run so fast, in fact, that he breaks his braces. He realizes he can master his body and uses that skill to move through the world. Instead of focusing on the kids throwing stones, he focuses on his own strength. Tip number 2. Negative people are mirrors of the potential we haven't used yet. They show us what we could be doing, what we could be activating inside ourselves. For Forrest, this potential leads to countless opportunities. He joins a football team, gets into college, then the army, where his ability to run saves his life and the lives of others. The point is, negative people are teachers. They show us where we can grow. As Mama Gump says, you've got to do the best with what God gave you. So, if life gives you people who throw stones, use that to bring out your best. This leads to tip number 3. Everyone is doing the best they can with what they have. When Forrest becomes an adult and joins the military, 2 parallel stories unfold. Jenny, the woman he loves, starts making self-destructive choices. And the Lieutenant Dan, who had built his identity around being a war hero, falls into deep despair when his life takes a different turn. Dan becomes bitter and refuses any positivity Forrest offers him. Jenny, shaped by a traumatic childhood, also struggles. But Forrest never judges either of them. He respects their process, because he knows they're doing the best they can with the awareness and tools they have. When we truly accept that others are doing the best they can, we stop being the toxic ones. Judgment is just another way to try to control. Forrest teaches us that compassion isn't about fixing others. It's about respecting their journey, which brings us to tip number 4. It's never our responsibility to change someone else. There's a great analogy I once heard. Imagine you're a goalkeeper. Your job is to defend your side of the field. If you leave your goal and walk all the way to the other side to help the other goalie, who didn't even ask for help, you're wide open. You're going to get scored on. Trying to fix others wastes time, energy, and focus that you could be using to grow yourself. And finally, tip number 5. No one is meant to fit into someone else's idea of how they should be. This goes both ways. I don't have to fit into society's mold, and others don't have to fit into mine. There are 2 great examples of this in the film. The first is Bubba. Bubba isn't a negative person, but many people might see him as annoying because he talks non-stop about shrimp. His dream is to open a shrimp business. Forrest, with his open heart, listens. He doesn't criticize. Later, after Bubba dies, Forrest honors him by starting that shrimp company, becoming a millionaire and impacting others, all because he respected Bubba's dream. The second example is Forrest's relationship with Jenny. He never tries to change to win her over. He loves her as he is and accepts that her answer may not be what he hopes for. His value doesn't depend on her response. We see this in Forrest's friendships, in his love life, and in something even bigger, the world around him. Just like we can't avoid negative people, we also can't avoid negative events. Forrest Gump walks us through American and world history wars, the assassination of great leaders, protests, political chaos, and death. He personally experiences loss. His mother, Bubba, and Jenny all pass away, but he never falls apart. Because happiness isn't about avoiding hard things, it's about how we perceive them. When he asks Mama Gump about death, she tells him it's just a part of life. When we accept that difficult things are a part of life, we stop fighting reality. We stop wasting energy trying to change what we can't control. There's a Mexican speaker named Tanya Karam who explains it beautifully. In life, we have loving teachers, tough teachers, and stormy teachers. Loving teachers help us with kindness like Mama Gump. Tough teachers throw stones and push us out of our comfort zone. Stormy teachers shake us to the core. I believe Forrest never had stormy teachers because he had the wisdom of neutrality thanks to his mother. But sometimes we walk into storms that aren't even ours. And those are the ones we can learn to step away from. So for me, the key takeaway is this. Use your full potential no matter the situation or the kind of teacher you have by your side. If we see everything and everyone as a teacher, life becomes a beautiful school. And we, a better version of ourselves.